Greetings, brothers and sisters. This Sunday we are reflecting on Matthew 16, verses 24 to 26. And it reads as follows. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and let him follow me. For whoever wishes to keep his life safe will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what shall a man be profited if he shall gain the whole world at the penalty of the price of his life? Or what will a man give in exchange for his life?" Let us examine the words, "he must deny himself." This is a very, very nice commentary from Barclays. And it says here, ordinarily we use the word self-denial in a restricted sense. We use it to mean giving up something. For instance, a week of self-denial may be a week when we do not do anything out of pleasure, out of luxury, in order to contribute to some good cause. But that is only a very small part of what Jesus meant by self-denial. To deny oneself means, in every moment of life, to say no to self and yes to God. To deny oneself means once, finally and for all, to dethrone self and to enthrone God. To deny oneself means to obliterate self as the dominant principle of life and to make God the ruling principle, more the ruling passion of life. The life of constant self-denial is the life of constant assent to God. What about the words, "he must take up his cross"? That is to say, he must take up the burden of sacrifice. The Christian life is the life of sacrificial service. The Christian may have to abandon personal ambition to serve Christ. It may be that he will discover that the place where he can render the greatest service to Jesus Christ is somewhere where the reward will be small and the prestige non-existent. He will certainly have to sacrifice time and leisure and pleasure in order to serve God through the service of his fellow men. To put it quite simply, the comfort of fireside, the pleasure of a visit to a place of entertainment, may well have to be sacrificed for the duties of the eldership, the calls of the youth club, the visit to the home of some sad or lonely soul. He may well have to sacrifice certain things he could well afford to possess in order to give more away. The Christian life is a sacrificial life. Let him take up his cross daily. What does this mean? The really important thing is not the great moments of sacrifice, but a life lived a constant hourly awareness of the demands of God and the need of others. The Christian life is a life which is always concerned with others more than it is concerned with itself. He must follow Christ, that is to say, he must render to Jesus Christ a perfect obedience when we were young, we used to play a game called Follow My Leader. Everything the leader did, however difficult, and in the case of the game, however ridiculous, we had to copy. The Christian life is a constant following of our leader, a constant obedience in thought, in word, and in action to Jesus Christ. The Christian walks in the footsteps of Christ wherever he may lead. In our day and generation, it is not likely to be a question of martyrdom, but still remains a fact that if we meet life in the constant search for safety, security, ease, and comfort, if every decision is taken from worldly wise and prudential motives, we are losing all that makes life worthwhile. Life becomes a soft and flabby thing when it might have been an adventure. Life becomes a selfish thing when it might have been radiant with service. Life becomes an earthbound thing when it might have been reaching for the stars. Someone once wrote a bitter epitaph of a man. He was born a man and died a grocer. Any trade or profession might be substituted for the word grocer. The man who plays for safety ceases to be a man, for man is made in the image of God. The man who risked all and maybe looks as if he had lost all for Christ finds life. It is the simple lesson of history that it has always been the adventurous soul bidding farewell to security and safety, who wrote their names on history and greatly helped the world of men. Unless there had been those prepared to take risks, many a medical cure would not exist. Unless there had been those prepared to take risks, many of the machines which make life easier would never have been invented. Unless there were mothers prepared to take risks, no child will ever be born. It is the man who is prepared to bet his life that there is a God who in the end finds life. Then Jesus speaks with warning. Suppose a man plays for safety. Suppose he gains the whole world, then suppose that he finds that life is not worth living. What can he give to get life back again? And the grim truth is that he cannot get life back again. In every decision of life, we are doing something to ourselves. We are making ourselves a certain kind of person. We are building up steadily and inevitably a certain kind of character, that we are making ourselves able to do certain things and quite unable to do others. It is perfectly possible for a man to gain all the things he set his heart upon, and then to awaken one morning to find that he has missed the most important things of all. The world stands for material things as opposed to God. And of all material things, there are three things to be said. No one can take them with him at the end. He can take only himself. And if he degraded himself in order to get them, his regret will be bitter. They cannot help a man in these shattering days of life. Material things will never mend a broken heart or cheer a lonely soul. If by any chance a man gained these material possessions in a way that is dishonorable, there will come a day when conscience will speak and he will know hell on this side of the grave. The world is full of voices crying out that he is a fool who sells real life for material things. Finally, Jesus asks, what will a man give in exchange for his soul? It can mean once a man has lost his real life because of his desire for security and for material things, there is no price that he can pay to get it back again. He has done something to himself which cannot ever be fully obliterated. It can also mean a man owes himself and everything else to Jesus Christ. And there is nothing that a man can give to Christ in place of his life. It is quite possible for a man to try to give his money to Christ and to withhold his life. It's still more possible for a man to give lip service to Christ and to withhold his life. Many a person gives his weekly free will offering to the church, but does not attend. Obviously, that does not satisfy the demands of church membership. The only possible gift to the church is ourselves. And the only possible gift to Christ is our whole life. There is no substitute for it. Nothing less will do. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. I'll see you again next week.